Hi Taurus, welcome to Sophquest. My name is Spence and we're here looking at the week of June 14th through the 20th. And I'm going to pull a 9-card spread for you, and I'm going to pull you an oracle card, and we're going to discuss it all, talk about the week a little bit. How was your new moon solar eclipse in Gemini last week? Did you get a chance to see any pictures of it? It was super cool. We're changing the way we think about things. We're finding new ways of learning things, new inventions. This week we are going to have the second of 3 major planetary alignments with Saturn this year. February 17th was the first, June 14th, so that's Monday this week, the first day of the week, and then again December 23rd or 24th, one of those days, before Christmas. Got your card. It happens again, and that is, it's big. It's Saturn square Uranus. So that is literally Saturn, the old grandfather, doing things the way they've always been done, the establishment, versus Uranus, the rebel, the change agent, the one that invents and comes up with new ways of doing things, the innovator, right? The teenager teaching grandpa how to use a cell phone, right? Or an app, that kind of thing. So should be interesting times. We might actually see some protesting. Who knows? We'll see. All right, today for you, we're also using the Winged Enchantment Oracle deck, Taurus, and that is by Leslie Morrison, the artwork by Lisa Hunt. I used these last week. You know, I love it so much. I'm using the birds because Gemini is an air sign. It's all about third house communication, and these bird messages were so inspiring to me last week. I loved reading them. So I'm using them again this week, and you get the seagull. So the seagull, 31. Let's read for you, Taurus, the seagull. I believe Sagittarius got the seagull last week, if I'm right. I don't know why I'm remembering that, but I believe so. All right, the seagull for you. Taurus, the seagull. I am seagull, master of the sea. I'm legend on the waters. I am ghost bird. I'm the one who haunts those adrift in the storm. I have the ways to maintain my bold position and defend a scavenger lifestyle. I take what I want as my survival depends on it. If you want my advice, learn to take what is given while it's there. There is always treasure where nobody looks. There are always paths that no one has trod upon. Seek them out and make them your own. I am resource and plenty. Wow. Expand your horizons. I am guardian of the open shores. Look farther out to sea. The ships may be heading in your direction. Competition is wild, but your instincts are keen. You are navigating the chaos. You are exploring deeper waters. You are boundless supply. You are seagull. I love this for you, Taurus, because it's infusing a little more water into your earth energy. And we're about to go into Cancer season. By the end of the week, we'll start moving toward Cancer season. So I think that you're going to be in a good place going through Cancer season. I think that home, family, and dealing with your feels is going to feel more comfortable. Now, you're good at that anyway because you're such a solid homebody type of person, at least your sun sign, right? We're all made of many different signs. But for this, I think it's just saying, you know, you've got all the resources you need at hand and you can use them wisely. But don't forget to perhaps take a new path if one comes available to you. If you see a new resource that might come available to you, you may want to take a path that hasn't been trod on yet, right? The road less traveled. That's what I just heard. The road less traveled, seagull. All right, Taurus, let's pull a 9-card from this week. We're using the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. That is by Matt Hughes. All right, Taurus. So yes, on the 14th, we're having the Saturn-Uranus square. And then at the very end of the week on Sunday, the sun enters Cancer season. And we'll come into the solstice, I believe, on the next day. And then Jupiter also will go retrograde. So we'll talk about Jupiter retrograde a little bit more next week. But, so this is basically the last week of Gemini season. And in some ways, it is almost the last push of the Mercury retrograde. For us to be taking in information and learning stuff, really trying to open our minds. If nothing else, Taurus, this is about trying to be more open-minded, okay? And allowing for those new things to come forward to help progress us as one humanity, right? Progress. The internet invented was progress. Cell phones, progress, you know. The space shuttle. No one had ever seen the Earth from that viewpoint before. So the more we learn, the greater our perspective. More pieces of the puzzle of the great truth of our life here on Earth, right? We're just seeing a little bit more. All right, now that I've got your first card out, we're going to cut the deck. Beautiful. Taurus, for you this week, we have the Eight of Cups. I'm going to show you these obviously one by one. We're going to go horizontal, vertical, and big picture, okay? Eight of Cups, the Well, which is an extra card in this deck, which means the source that you go to when you need to fill your cup. The Ten of Wands, because you've been exhausted, yeah. You're really wanting to move forward from something here. You've gone inward, you're looking at it with the Hermit, the Queen of Wands, and ask yourself what you really want. Feeling perhaps a little bit more inspired to do something new, excited about it, about the idea of it. And then the Artist, the other extra card in this deck, because you are, wow, really learning something new about yourself. Maybe you are seeing new pathways. Maybe you're flying up a little higher to get a higher vantage point. Wanting to go down a new stretch of the beach. Then we have the Ten of Cups. We have the Lovers. And the Wheel of Fortune. Wowzy wow. Okay, Taurus, on the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Swords. All right, let's look at this. If you would, while I am taking a look at your spread, Taurus, would you please take 3 deep cleansing breaths for me? Really get a lot of air in. Pushing through your diaphragm. If you can, push your feet down on the floor to get a little more grounded. We're going to drop our cortisol and rise up the serotonin and dopamine levels in our brain. All right, let me take this in. I think you're trying to lead yourself toward a new source of inspiration. And I think it is because you are learning so much. I think you are taking in new inspiration. Under this is the Star. I cannot, and the Judgment. I cannot ignore that. This is the bottom of the deck. Wake up call to your Sophquest. And hearing it. The Queen of Swords holds her sword up and uses her intuition, brings it down into her intuition and intellect to know, to see. The Queen of Swords is a seer. She's one of the seers in the deck. She has a great intuition and yet great intellect enough to be able to apply it. So, wow. So you're really taking some new stuff in here. Maybe you've been dreaming. Maybe you've been just talking to new kinds of people or watching different shows on TV or being inspired by music or poetry or artwork. Who knows? But you're really starting to open up what might have had been in the past closed doors. Doors you had closed, and you decided you're going to go in to your brain and open up a few new doors. With the Eight of Cups, you're heading somewhere. You're heading toward a dream. And with the Well, you're trying to get to a source, a new source of inspiration. Sacred space, I heard. You want sacred space. That makes sense to me, Taurus. And because 10 of Wands, you've been carrying a lot of burdens and a heavy load about your life. You have a lot of major arcana here on the table. And that tells me that, you know, divine order and divine timing have been orchestrating your life in such a way, in the mathematics and perfection of the music of the spheres. That's how I love to think of the universe. We can very often, personally, just on a very down-to-earth level, we can feel very much like we're a victim of circumstance. When bad things happen and you're like, oh, you know, my plans have gone awry. But somewhere in the middle of all of this, you are looking at it in a new way and saying, okay, now what? Because you've got the Hermit. The Hermit holds his lantern and is looking at the star. He's trying to have hope and faith that he will be guided. Out in the desert, with no one there, how am I being guided? He asks the question. He looks at the lamp. He's looking at it. He's using it to look out into the world. And the star represents the faith and the hope that he has to walk the journey. And next to that is the Queen of Wands. The yin energy filled with passion and inspiration that there's got to be more. And then the artist. And then deciding, you know what? I'm discovering new parts of myself. I've gone to this new well of inspiration and realized that I don't have to do this. I don't have to carry everyone else's burdens and let it bother me. Life is a series of problems, yes. Gary Zukov, right? But we can solve them one or two ways. We can whistle while we work through them, knowing this too shall pass, and loving others and trying to be there for each other. Or we can just sit in the seat of misery and commiserate all day long, complaining about how life sucks. You know, you're not doing that. You're doing this. You're saying, you know what? Everything's cool. I'm going to have faith. I'm trusting. And if you haven't been Taurus, this week, I think there might be a shift for you with Uranus. You might take a bit of a stand and say, nope, I am running my own life here and I'm deciding I'm just going to be really positive and invent myself in a new way, reinvent myself here with this Artist card, one of the other extra cards in this deck. The Artist is you going to the wellspring of wisdom, looking for your life path. You got both cards. Wow. You are on a Sophquest, Taurus. That's what I call it, the Sophquest. Wisdom quest. It's our life path. It's not just a spiritual journey. It's the journey of personal growth. Allowing ourselves to change. Because growth requires change. And change requires growth. So depending on which way you do it, can be, you know, positive or negative. Mercury retrograde, I'm stammering. Positive or negative. You know, to the positive, it's like the change happens and it requires growth. So you grow through it. You're like, okay, I'm taking the change on and I'm going for it. If you think about it the other way, that growth requires change, it's harder to think about it that way. Because then you got to sit and stew in the, you mean I have to change? Mindset, right? When if you just open your eyes, you realize it is changing. It's changing. Life's changing you. And so, Taurus, you are telling yourself, no, change requires growth. I'm growing. I'm cool with it. Okay, 10 of Cups, lovers. Because I want to be happy. I want to have love in my life. And it's time for me to take a step forward and see maybe what else there is to see about life. To use all the things that are given to me, every resource, every opportunity, every chance to get a higher perspective of everything, the wind, the water, the wood, looking at life from above a little bit, taking in a new way of seeing that life is abundant. Love is abundant. It provides. Gaia herself, the planet, provides. These are big cards. I just did Aries too, and you know, both of these readings have been just big because these major arcana cards are saying that you're going through something that is a level up, Taurus. It's a level up. And yes, you know that you've struggled. You know it, but you're at the 10. You know, in this card, I always see this card like a story. Like he's been going through life and picking up a wand every so many 100 yards, let's say. And it's, you know, it's like a giant tree trunk. And every single time he picks up the next one, it gets harder and harder and harder. And yet he's accumulating what he needs, because what he wants, because the wands are about our desire, he wants to go build his house. He's trying to build a house here. You're trying to build a life. But it gets harder and harder and harder. The more resources we have to gather, the more people that are involved, the more social dynamics, the more changing directions with others. Life requires us to grow as we change. And as he struggles through, he gets stronger. His muscles start to form. He gets stronger and stronger as he goes. And then, at the 10, he gets to put him down and say, woohoo! Now, everybody come around. Everybody come around. Let's drink some water. We're all tired. We need some water. We've come a very long journey to get here. Searching the perfect place to build our home. I've been trying to cheer you on as we go. And paint a picture of what it can be like once we build this perfect house with this perfect vista. The house, of course, representing the life you want. And we're all here together. We made it. We chose to stay together. We chose to be together. We chose this family-loving life. Whomever these two cards represent. Whether, you know, it's a partner, family members, friends, the people that you love in your life. You made it. Wheel of Fortune. You can now click that piece of the puzzle into place. You made it. And you did it because you were guided. You were called by the clarion call, by the aha call to make a change in your life, to come forward and build this, whatever this new thing is in your life. So Taurus, wow. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Yeah, Taurus. Nice. I don't know if you've ever read that, but I love that book so much. Yeah, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I think I've read all his books. Anyway, I really, really wish and hope that you have a wonderful week of kindness, reverence, and gratitude, because I think you're leading the ones in your life right now. Leading them toward abundance, but not just financial. This is the abundance of time and life and love, well spent together, seeking a happy, peaceful life. You have the 9, you have the 8 and the 10 of Cups, the Lovers. You have so many cards that say that you want a happy life filled with love. And Taurus, that's what you're about. And so whatever this new thing is, whatever you saw for the first time, that road less traveled, you go, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. You be a little bit different. Anyway, I'm excited for you. Kindness, reverence, and gratitude. Thanks so much, Taurus. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks.